2.6 Chemistry of Compounds. Look at the colors you can make by mixing together just a few colors of paint. In the photo above, the rainbow of colors on the brush formed from just 4 paint colors: green, yellow, red, and blue. The same thing is true of matter in general. By combining just a few different elements, you can form many different chemical compounds. What are compounds? A compound is a unique substance that forms when 2 or more elements combine chemically. Compounds form as a result of chemical reactions. The elements in compounds are held together by chemical bonds. A chemical bond is a force of attraction between atoms or ions that share or transfer valence electrons. Remember, we learned about 2 types of chemical bonds. We learned about covalent bonds and ionic bonds. This video will help explain it more in depth. Water is an example of a common chemical compound. As you can see in the figure below, each water molecule consists of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Water always has this 2-to-1 ratio of hydrogen to oxygen. Like water, all compounds consist of a fixed ratio of elements. It doesn't matter how much or how little of a compound there is, it always has the same composition. Notice we have oxygen in blue, hydrogen in red. All water molecules have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Question: sometimes the same elements combine in different ratios. How can this happen if a compound always consists of the same elements in the same ratio? Answer: if the same elements combine in different ratios, they form different compounds. Same elements, different compounds. Look at the figure below of water, H2O, and hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and read about these 2 compounds. Both compounds consist of hydrogen and oxygen, but they have different ratios of the 2 elements. As a result, water and hydrogen peroxide are different compounds with different properties. If you've ever used hydrogen peroxide to disinfect a cut, then you know that it is very different from water. Water is odorless and colorless. We drink it, bathe in it, and use it to wash our clothes. In fact, we can't live without it. Hydrogen peroxide is also odorless and colorless. It's used as an antiseptic to kill germs or cuts. It's also used as bleach to remove color from hair. Interesting chemistry joke. 2 guys are sitting in a restaurant. One guy tells the waiter asks, "What will you have to drink?" The guy says, I'll have H2O. And he asks his friend, the waiter asks the friend, "What would you have to drink?" He says, "I'll have H2O too." The second guy died. Explainer, if you didn't catch that, second guy didn't realize he ordered hydrogen peroxide to drink H2O2 instead of H2O. He meant to say H2O also. Question: read the figure below about carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Both compounds consist of carbon and oxygen, but in different ratios. How can you tell that carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide are different compounds? Carbon dioxide, CO2, carbon monoxide, CO. Answer: you can tell that they are different compounds from their very different properties. Carbon dioxide is a harmless gas that living things add to the atmosphere during respiration or breathing. Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas that can quickly kill people if it becomes too concentrated in the air. Carbon dioxide, every time you exhale, you release carbon dioxide into the air. It is an odorless, colorless gas. Carbon dioxide contributes to global climate change, but it isn't directly harmful to humans. Carbon monoxide, on the other hand, is produced when matter burns. It is a colorless, odorless gas that is very harmful to human health. In fact, it can kill people in minutes. Because you can't see or smell carbon monoxide, it must be detected with an alarm, which is pictured here. Types of compounds. There are 2 basic types of compounds that differ in the nature of the bonds that hold their atoms or ions together. They are covalent and ionic compounds. Both types are described below. Watch this video for more information. Covalent compounds consist of atoms that are held together by covalent bonds, which we learned about. These bonds form between nonmetals and share valence electrons. Covalent compounds exist as individual molecules. Water is an example of a covalent compound. Another covalent compound would be carbon dioxide. Ionic compounds consist of ions that are held together by ionic bonds. These bonds form when metals transfer electrons to nonmetals. Ionic compounds exist as a matrix of many ions called a crystal. Sodium chloride, table salt, is an example of an ionic compound. Notice sodium is a metal from the periodic table. Chlorine or chloride ion is a nonmetal. Metals with nonmetals typically form ionic bonds. In summary, a compound is a unique substance that forms when two or more elements combine chemically. A compound always consists of the same elements in the same ratio. If the same elements combine in different ratios, they form different compounds. Types of compounds include covalent and ionic compounds. They differ in the nature of the bonds that hold their atoms or ions together. Thanks for listening.